Happy New Year, everyone. Today marks the beginning of the new season according to the Chinese solar calendar called Li Chun, or the beginning of spring. To commemorate this day and also the start of the Year of the Tiger, I'll be sharing one of my favorite childhood folk stories called Great Aunt Tiger. Stick around to hear this gruesome tale known as the Chinese Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, an ancient tiger spirit roamed the mountains and hills. One day, she came upon the house, and seeing the parents say goodbye to their two young children, she hid herself to overhear their conversation. "Be good and watch over your little brother while we're gone," the parents told the older sister. "We'll come back in a week." The tiger spirit laughed gleefully as the parents left, taking on the shape of an old woman before knocking on the front door. "Open up, little children," she called. "It's your great aunt here to look after you while your parents are away." Hearing that it was their relative, the little boy opened the door for the tiger spirit in disguise. Upon seeing the nice and tender flesh of the little boy, Great Aunt Tiger began to drool and hurried the children off to bed early so that she could eat the little brother without raising the older sister's suspicion. In the middle of the night, the sister woke up to the sound of munching and crunching. She rolled over towards Great Aunt Tiger and asked, "What are you doing?" I was hungry and decided to have some peanuts," Great Aunt Tiger replied. The sister suddenly found herself feeling a little hungry herself and asked if she could have some too. But what fell into her palm weren't peanuts. They were rather a set of perfectly shaped fingers that had been attached to her brother's hand only moments before. Fighting the urge to scream, the sister kept her wits about her and attempted to get away. She told Great Aunt Tiger that she needed to use the outhouse. Not wanting her prey to escape, Great Aunt Tiger refused, saying, I don't want you getting lost outside in the dark." Thinking hard, the sister then suggested, "Well, maybe I can tie a rope around my waist, so if I get lost or need help, you can still come and find me." Great Aunt Tiger agreed, and having secured a rope around the girl's waist, she allowed her to go outside. Not knowing where to go or what to do, the sister climbed a tree near the outhouse to try to jump over the wall of the compound, but unfortunately it was too high. There was no way she could do it without hurting herself. So while she sat thinking, Great Aunt Tiger followed the rope out to where the little girl was. "What are you doing in that tree?" she snarled angrily, showing her true identity. "Come down so I can eat you up for dessert." The tiger spirit tried to climb the tree, but it was too weak, and the branches just snapped under the tiger spirit's weight. The sister held on for her life. I'm too old to be tasty on my own," the sister called down, thinking quickly. "If you send up a pot of hot peanut oil, I'll fry myself first before jumping down." Great Aunt Tiger thought the sister had a point and agreed. She boiled a large pot of oil and sent it up over the branch where the sister waited. "There's your oil. Now keep your promise to me," she yelled and opened her mouth wide. Seeing her chance, the sister tipped the hot oil over the tiger spirit, thereby scalding her to death and saving herself. For those familiar with Little Red Riding Hood, we see several similarities between the two stories. A large, ferocious animal pretends to be an old relative to trick an innocent child. That same child must use her wits to overcome the threat of being eaten. And lastly, the story serves as a warning for children against trusting strangers. Like the story of Red Riding Hood, the story of Great Aunt Tiger also evolved over time, where some versions are more or less violent. There are versions, especially from mainland China, in which the rope that the sister uses to tie around her waist wasn't actually a rope. It was her little brother's entrails. And there are other versions as well where the sister merely calls for help and the tiger spirit is ultimately scared away. According to Fred Lobb, who has translated and adapted many folktales, the one was first recorded during the Qing Dynasty anthology Yi Chu Xing Zhi, which was edited by Zhang Chao. The story of Great Aunt Tiger has served to scare many, many Taiwanese children over hundreds of years. There is the clear lesson of teaching children not to be too trusting of strangers, but it might have also served as a cautionary tale for parents as well. For those of us who grew up with more of a Western perspective, Confucian ideals of filial piety or respect for one's elders, particularly one's parents, tend to focus on the obedience of subordinates, children, lay people, young people, towards one's superiors, parents, emperors, elders. However, there is a flip side to that relationship in which those with greater power and responsibility are beholden to the highest expectations to act as stewards of safety and the well-being of those dependent on their wisdom and guidance. So, from the perspective of a Confucian family unit, leaving one's children unsupervised and vulnerable in the story of Great Aunt Tiger might actually be considered a poorer reflection of the guardian than of the child. So I'm curious if you have any favorite scary stories from when you were a kid. Leave me a comment and let me know, and I hope your Year of the Tiger is off to a great start.